G'day, movers and shakers. Last time you would have seen me talking about the hardest rubbish rig, shifter and materials. For anyone that's new to the channel, this is the hardest rubbish rig. First one was hard rubbish rig. Then you had a harder rubbish rig. This is the hardest rubbish rig. So all made of scrap stuff that I make, and I like to use my hands. So last time I was talking about the shifter and how sort of tough it is, and yeah, it's good because I made it. So it's got rare earth magnets. So anyway, point is, I'm making this video is I was watching the V8 supercars. They were in Queensland, and some really nice onboard cameras, and each year I like to study that shit, look at that shit. And you could tell a lot from what they were doing, how long the throw was, where it was engaging, how hard they were able to force it. It's a real violent ratchet mechanism movement that has two movements. It engages a gear, not really like I thought. It was more 3/4 through the shift, clunk, and back. So like a ratchet. So I thought, you know, I could use ratchet straps because they got that mechanism. But then I thought, this is hard rubbish or harder rubbish rig worthy. But this is the hardest rubbish rig. So even though it's free and it's junk and it's scrap that I make, as best I can be bothered, I want it to be the hardest rubbish rig. That's not the hardest. I mean, yeah, look, that's tough. But no matter how hard I try to make it feel motor and like I wanted, that's not hardest. So then I thought, well, what are the components of what would make it feel like a V8 supercar? And I thought, well, it's really bearings. It's a shift. It's a shift, magnetic shift. And yeah, supercars have got, it's digital as far as there is a micro switch or whatever, so it can engage, I suppose you call it almost like a clutch, disengage, power for the minute second, or fraction of a second, I suppose you'd call it a hundredth of a second, faster than blink, so it can change gears, but it's still changing gears. It's still bearings running over a shift in plate or in resistance, right? So it's still a mechanical thing that it's doing. And we're actually sure, but it's really bearings over loaded plate. So I thought, well, hacksaw. Now, anyone that's new to the channel, stop the UV light. So anyone that's new to the channel would think, why would you go to such effort and then just cut it off? Well, that's how I roll. I don't mind. Easy come, easy go, but more like I love what I create, but at the same time, you can easily have the blinkers on like a horse and like something and try and, yeah, okay, you can go and get direct drive, you can go and get all this stuff, but from what I've got, I still think I want better. And I'd hate to, yeah, that's not how I go about it. It's like, that, I did say it was temporary, and I don't know if it was like a Freudian slip or something, as in Freudian slip. Who's Freudy and slip? So I don't know if I meant to say it, but I did say, oh, this is a temporary shifter. Yeah, because that is a shifter. That is hardest rubbish rig. Thanks to like a component like this, say this is like the door stoppers. Ooh, there goes that. All right, that's what gave me the idea of, you know, how to do a loaded plate thing, and all of the above. So that's really shoddy, but I modify that and I modify that. And that's what made me think, well, I could just play all day with that, or I could just build like so it feels like a V8 supercar. So they have A-frame, main selector, big bearing, running through rod end to rod into another rod end to another, we'll call it shaft, with more bearings that run over loaded plates. So that's what I'm doing. So I pulled one of them apart, and all it is one of those shoddy things, little springs. So I'd make it way better. I'd put the, as you know, do it my way with the rubber eraser in there, make it like a little mushroom. I'm doing this looking through the camera, so anyway, there's that's the magnet that goes in it, which I don't want to put in just this second, but that would go in it. And then that, like a little mushroom, sits on top, like that. And it's going to be hard to do one hand, so I won't even bother. I will bother because it's fun. I'll try and do it one handed. And then I'll squeeze it together. And look at it through the camera is difficult. And then turn the black bit, which isn't working. Okay, so anyway, but anyway, I'll make that really, really sprung and really cool. And that sits in the floor of this. And then this bit, I pulled apart too and turned it inside out. So I'll have a longer thread than that. That'll go into the ball. Then I'll put that in the base of that thing. It's like a ball bearing, but I don't want it to roll. So I'm going to actually put the thread so that goes through the top there. And then that will be into the shaft. What I did with the shaft is I've made it truly weighted. So it's like a V8 supercar, so it's not just stepped down 3 times, it's actually weighted. So it's a tube in a tube in a tube. And it's so nice, I'm so happy with that. And I even made my own end cap. So I can have 2, so I'll have one position, 2 positions. So that'll be change the throw huge. That'll be the whole change of the throw. So that there will now go into like one of those. And that'll be honed, so then that'll want to be pulled to center. So when you're engaging, it snaps out of there, right? Hits 2 because you don't want 1. Oh, sorry, big bearings obviously up the top, and these ones, roller bearings, they snap into here, but that's just to keep the whole thing centered. The whole stick will always be centered. And then not 1 rod, but I'm having 2 rod ends, and with combined force that you won't be able to override the gas struts, but if you could, bonus feature. why have end stops when you can have gas strut? So that would go to 2 rods, and that'll hit. They'll be tied into there. That'll be there just for seeing these nice little micro or momentary switch or whatever they're fucking called, mouse. They'll click really nice and go into a phone cable. That'll just know when I've selected. So it'll be really firm. They roll on, this whole shaft rolls on smaller bearings, skateboard bearings, those ones. And then this thing here, they're enclosed ones. That said the wheels like train wheels or whatever, or the opposite, sorry. They go in a groove. That'll run. It's really heavy, so that'll be naturally like a pendulum, and that'll want to fall off a hill. So at the moment I haven't got the plate that'll fall off or fall on. I don't know, I can't remember which one. It falls off, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just showing you an example. Like this is like a door one. If I got the bottom of, say, this thing and put that over it, and it's a little bit shy, see, of sits proud or whatever of the, see, it's like a false floor. But essentially that would be, say, bigger travel, and it would be loaded onto that in a box. Obviously that's a box. that'd be loaded. So when wheels fall off it, it kicks up this floor. So when it snaps back into place, it snaps onto it goes. This will be nice and smoother and rounder. The edges, it'll go onto it. Dunk, dunk. That is how you make it feel like a V8 supercar. It'll go bang like a ratchet system would feel, but you'll literally feel the proper resistance through the unit. That'll sit on there. Then I will probably, I don't know what I'll do with all that shit, not forever. I'll end up the rest of it. And then I'll make the handbrake, which is, like I've explained, the moves and shakers pretty simple. I might even use some hydraulic, as soon as I've been thinking about these gas struts. I do have an extra gas strut and things like that, and I'm thinking, well, they also might make nice handbrake sort of components. Anyway, but point being is, yes, things take longer and sometimes forever with me. That's hard rubbish rig. That's probably better. That's probably a harder rubbish rig. It's not hardest. Come on. Well, hardest rubbish rig, I should be able to, once that's built, I should be able to run up and karate kick it. As a matter of fact, no, I'll run up and I'll karate kick it when it's done. It's not recommended probably with a real race car, but you'd be able to. So when I picture this sort of thing in my type of mind, I picture a Bruce Lee fly kick, but I won't do that. But I'll give it a good kick, and my steel caps. When that's built, it'll look like that essentially. It'll be two parts. So it's like, where's my texture? Before I go, I'm about to wrap it up. See how it's like magnetism draws into there, so it wants to fall into there. But when you release it, this wants to fall off as well. I might have to think this bit through, but I don't know how that works. That's double away from the where it wants to be. But I can fuck with magnetism here, and I can fuck with spring here. So to get it right, that's no problem. Mechanically, it's the feel. It's the shift in metals with a roller going over is the thing. So I think it builds resistance, loses resistance, but then it's easier for it to be here than it is here. So even though it loses resistance, it still wants to pop back over the hill. Does that make sense? Okay. Probably nothing I do makes sense. Maybe. I should find a lid for this because it is a paint pen, and that is not a good idea. These carpets are remarkably clean. You wouldn't believe it. But I do things like that. So I can look messy, but it can look spotless in a minute. Where is the lid? Alright, this is something that movers and shakers don't need to see. Story of my life, ADHD. Where's the lid? And then I'll say, I'll put it here, right? Because, it's safer there, for one. And then I can't forget about finding the lid. And I'm probably looking for something that's like the wrong colour of the lid. And so, anyway, want to see more? Like, subscribe. You know the drill. Thanks for watching.